What's it?
This nigga. Yeah, I was gonna say something. I was getting like
Oh, the guy.
yeah. Good man.
That's
He just got closer down.
Just give me a minute.
Yeah, some loud for something. Yeah.
You're still making noise. It's a business, man. You can't do that. Oh, no, it's fine. I think from every stop we can. Yeah.
Is it still going now? You press pause. Okay. I think he still is talking again.
Yeah, let's just give him some time to pass. He will pass. What about you? I see it.
You should be good for another 15 minutes. The shoulder is out there, right? The
Okay.
tapestry? Okay. Well, you can still be
Yeah,
if you want.
okay.
As long as you see the face as well.
All right.
Yeah, it's getting. You know, in a minute. I mean, we can't just go drown all the time. We outside, so they get it. You know,
Yeah.
they get it. Yeah.
No, that's fine. As long as you're able to hear the sound, many people are able to hear what they're talking about. Yeah. Okay, so
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the I.M.N.O.G podcast with the OG crew today. It's your boy, as always, I.M.N.O.G Marlon and Trip Sound. And today on the show, man, we got Elvis. No Presley. Elvis, though, man. It's great to have you here. Glad you could come through, man. It's I don't know, luck, chance. It's a lot of. The universe was working for you to bump into Trip Sound like you did.
sure.
And I'm glad you had some time to, jump on the show and let everybody get to know you. So I'll let you, introduce yourself to the people. Tell them what you do.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man, for having me. I really appreciate you guys, calling me here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm Elvis. Elvis Mulifi Morph, as you know, everybody knows me. So those are 3 words, and Elvis Mulifi is my 2 names given by my parents.
Okay.
And Morph is just an abbreviation of my second name.
All right.
So what happened is that when I was young, I used to play soccer. I don't play soccer now, but as a young male individual growing in a black community, obviously, one sport that everybody plays is soccer, right, or football, right?
Yep.
So and when you play soccer, everybody has a nickname of sort. So they had to abbreviate my name and call me Morph, you know. The reason why I now go by the name Elvis Mulifi Morph is because in different places that I've operated previously, even now, they know me with either one of the name. When I go home in PTA, I'm from Pretoria.
Okay.
So they know me as Morph. But in school, when I was in school, I used to use my second name, which is Mulifi. And then when I got to varsity, because when I was in matric, what happened is that our school actually started saying, look, in order for you to actually write the exam, you need to use your first name according to your ID. And my first name according to my ID, it's Elvis.
Okay.
So then, all of these years I've been using different names in different places, but then I realized that some people know me as Elvis, some people know me as Mulifi, some people know me as Morph. So I just said, Elvis Mulifi Morph. So even my YouTube channel, it's Elvis Mulifi Morph, but that's my personal channel. We're gonna talk about that. So I guess that's me. And thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Did you ask your parents why they named you Elvis? Is it inspired by the singer?
It's not inspired by the singer, but if you check the name Elvis, what it means, it's the same meaning as my second name Mulifi.
Okay.
So Mulifi is it's one Southern Sotho name, you can say. So what it means basically is to replace, right?
Okay.
On the same date that I was, and if you check even Elvis, what it means, it's basically almost the same meaning. The reason for that is because on the same night that my mom gave birth to me, there was another male child, which was the only male child out of my mother's womb, who actually passed away on the same night.
Oh, wow.
So my brother, I never got to actually meet him personally. I never got a chance to actually, sit down with him and know him personally, but I got to know him through pictures and, talking to my parents and my other siblings, right?
Okay.
So that's what the name means. I guess, my mother's loss of her only male child, and God giving her another male child compelled her to actually call me this name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, man. No, that's great. I like the meaning. I like it. That's nice. Like the backstory, man. I appreciate it. I'm glad you could share that with us, man, for real.
Yeah.
I know, so you mentioned that you have a YouTube channel. And you also conduct interviews too. And so, are these interviews on your YouTube channel, or how do you work that? Tell us about, your career through YouTube.
So I'm a creative at heart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a creative at heart. I won't lie. I think, I realized my creativity, since I was young.
Mm-hmm.
At some point I thought I was an entrepreneur until I realized that actually an entrepreneur is a creative in the business world. It's no different to any other creative, right? So acknowledging that I'm a creative, I bumped into the content creating space not so long ago. When I finished my matric, which is a grade 12 here in South Africa, by the way. I moved to Joburg from Pretoria, to University of Johannesburg, and I studied strategic corporate communication. And during my first year, I got really exposed to a different environment. I mean, I've never been a traveling person since I was young. Maybe because I didn't have the means to actually travel, even though I would have loved to. So moving to a new city, meeting different people, different beliefs, different backgrounds, culture, and all of that. I then realized that I have a lot to say, and that's how I actually started my YouTube channel.
Okay, got you. All right, we're gonna take a quick break from it.
Okay. Hi guys. I'm gonna read a question and I'm gonna give you an answer based to my experience. So, like, if you had Ramaphosa's WhatsApp number, what message would you send him about load shedding? So, like, on my side, I would say we've been surviving in South Africa every day. As a student, I'm a student in Central Johannesburg College. Nowadays, we can't even study. We can't do our homeworks because, like, when we get at home, there's no electricity, guys. When we're doing something, there's no electricity every time. Even to charge my phone, there's no electricity. And then we have a president called Ramaphosa. And I know Vele, my favorite president was Zuma, because, guys, even if he was trash, he had, like, everything. We could get anything we wanted outside the streets. Like, I used to, like, pick up phones, money. But with Ramaphosa, it's a flop, guys, because we don't get shit. We don't get shit from this guy. So if I had his WhatsApp number talking about load shedding and shit, I'll tell him to just leave these presidential things that he's doing. Rather go to the farm, check the cows, do something like that than being a president, because it's not helping South Africa as a country. South Africa is a big country, guys. If you go out there, we have Zim, we have Malawi, we have different countries out there. But then, guys, just by being here in South Africa, we can tell that, guys, have you invited to places like Sandton, Rosebank? Even here, like, I'm at Gandhi Square, guys. Have you seen Gandhi Square in other countries? Nah. But then, it's not gonna be Gandhi Square if there's load shedding, guys. If there's no electricity in South Africa, it's useless. Like, everything, it's just useless. But then, guys, that's what I'm about to say. And thank you for, like, giving your time. I'm Peter, by the way, if you guys know.
Okay, cool. We back, y'all. We gonna keep telling us about, you was getting at that. You really didn't have the opportunity to travel. So then after you made it to Johannesburg, you started moving around. So get us through there and keep leading us to how you ended up where you are now.
Yeah. So hey man, it's been a journey that I think I appreciate, especially from where I am right now. So I didn't just jump into YouTube like that, right? So I used to watch a lot of content on YouTube, but being a creator, sometimes I guess we have a different look of things. Our outlook of life is very, very different. So I always wanted to be the person who actually create videos and people watch my videos instead of me being actually watching the videos, right? So I always wondered, how can I do that? But I didn't have time and I didn't have resources. Well, I thought I didn't have resources, but I had resources actually, because I had like a proper an iPad, which was proper in visuals and all of that, but I just didn't have the know-how You
Okay,
know,
I got
just
you.
didn't have the know-how. So I guess that, you know, put me in a position where I didn't believe that I could actually create, right? But I've posted my first video in 2018, right? So I was recording myself, and the thing is, I used to watch. What brought me to YouTube was motivational videos. I was watching a lot of you know, motivational videos, especially guys from the US. Your who's this, Les Brown?
Okay. Yeah.
Your Les Brown, your Miles Monroe, and a whole bunch of other guys, right? And that sparked something within me. You know, I thought, you know, but what if I make videos like this? But then I asked myself a question again: what am I going to speak about? Because these people, what they're speaking about is their personal experience. It's also experience that they have gathered throughout their lives and their journeys, you know, as they navigate life. And I didn't have anything at that moment that I can actually broadcast and put it out there, right? So I stopped, you know, but I created a channel. I posted a video. I tried talking something, but it didn't make sense, you know. So I left it up until 2020. Up until 2020, that's when I actually started conducting a little bit of interviews for my little channel. I was working at another organization, so I knew a couple of people that are in the entertainment space, and I knew other people that I actually, you know, worked with previously, you know. Then I started calling them, and I was like, okay, can you just come in? Let's do a virtual meeting. I'll record the video on Zoom, and then I'll post it on YouTube.
Okay.
But at that time, I mean, it was like, you know, I was not getting any traction. You know, even now, my channel is relatively still small, but you know, it's better. People, at least that small audience, they know what I'm doing. They can understand what I'm doing, right?
Okay.
So that's when I started my YouTube channel, and I kept on posting when I get time, but I was so inconsistent. You know, I would post after a week, maybe after a month. Sometimes I'll just go 2 months, you know, without posting, and then I come back, and you know, YouTube algorithm doesn't favor you when you move that way, you know. Then last year, I actually came up with an idea to start my second channel, because I didn't want to mix my personal channel, the one that I'm talking about, with the idea that I had. And I wanted to do street interviews.
Okay.
I wanted to talk about issues on the ground, you know, issues that are not being touched by mainstream media, issues that are facing a lot of people on the ground. Right now, we have load shedding since 2007, by the way.
Yep.
There's been bad since the year 2019. But it has been there since 2007. But now, you know, people are fed up, and they don't have a platform to actually express themselves about this frustration. So I created this platform. I call it the Big Questions ZA, and I go around asking people questions that many are afraid to ask. That's basically, you know, how I define my questions.
Okay.
So, you know, it's random interviews. But to my surprise, you know, I get a lot of people that have a lot to say. You know, sometimes I get videos that, you know, don't have substance. But when I do get that one video that has substance, you know, I post it on TikTok, I post it on YouTube, I post it on Facebook, on Instagram. And the engagement that I get is really surprising. So,
Okay. No,
yeah,
that's nice.
that's where I am right now with YouTube.
Okay. No, man, that's brilliant. Like, I really like that idea and the thought to do these street interviews and really get to the people and let them be able to express their ideas and their opinions, and like for them to feel that they're being heard.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure for a lot of people, they don't feel like they're ever heard. And then when you get to a point where you feel like no one's ever listening, you just give up on trying to speak and speak out. So no, I think what you're doing is like great for the country and great for where you.
100%.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Did the idea to do the street interviews just come from the topics that you talked about on your personal channel, and then you just felt like, man, I never hear this from other people too, and I wonder what other people are thinking?
Come to think about it right now, actually, yes.
Yeah.
You know, because yes, I invited a couple of people that would engage on these topics, but a lot of it actually came from me. You know, I would interview a person, but then I will end up just hoarding a lot of information because I had a lot to say.
Right.
You know, then yes, that idea came in. I was like, but there's a lot of people in the streets, you know, just random people, you know, all these media platforms, all these podcasts, all these news platforms, all they call is celebrities, government officials, and all of those people. And those people are not authentic, you know, but I want conversations that are not scripted, conversations that are raw, you know, authentic, and conversations that really matter, you know, and conversations that matter cannot be scripted. You know, it needs to be organic as much as possible. So I then, you know, thought, you know, how about I just call these people or just approach them randomly. Let's hear what they have to say. Let's give them a platform. So that's how I actually came about it. Yeah.
Okay. And so then, what do you typically go to try to find people to interview?
Yeah.
You know, like what spaces do you try to occupy and then approach people to conduct interviews, or what have you been?
Yeah.
You know?
So, you know, I move around. In the last 4 years, I've stayed in different places. You know, in 2019, I was in Melville. That's when I was doing my last year at the University of Johannesburg. In 2020, I moved to Jan-Hofmeer. That's close to Melville again. And then in 2021, I moved to Brixton. And then in 2022, I moved to Soweto, Bramfisher. Then I moved to Protea Glen again.
Okay.
And then this year, I actually moved here in Sky City. So I've been around different communities. And so in each and every community where I was actually engaging with a lot of people. So, you know, with regards to the questions, I don't know if Amos can assist us. I've got actually a couple of questions that I was asking yesterday. Maybe I can, you know, show you guys what are some of the questions that I was actually, you know, asking yesterday. I think that they're on my jacket. If you check my jacket, just, you know, the list of questions on the pocket, and you will see those are the questions that I was giving people randomly. And I say, okay, choose out of these questions, just choose 2 questions that you feel confident about. And then, of course, give me what give me your opinion. Tell me what do you think about this question that I'm asking in particular.
Okay.
So I would sit down, I would think about questions. So on my Google Drive, I always have this document where if I think of a question, right? If I think of a question, I just write it down. You understand?
Yeah.
I just type it, and then from there, you know, what I do is that the day I think the question is relevant, then I would go and ask the question. So sometimes I think of a question that is not relevant at this moment, you know, but it's in my mind. It comes into mind, and by the time maybe when a topic trends or a situation happens in the country, you know, that question becomes relevant, and then I start. Yeah.
All right, y'all, we back. Yeah, we had to take another quick break, man. If y'all haven't noticed, we outside. So, yeah, we outside. And yeah, there's a dog on my lap. So, I mean, pay no mind, but pay mine if you want. It's my baby Roo. Chill out. Anyway, yeah, man. We still here with Elvis. And we finna get back into it. So let's jump right back in. While I was asking you, you know, do you go out to parks or markets, or you just find a busy street to kind of just like, you know, what do you select your locations to do your interviews, and like what's that process?
Yeah. So with regards to location selection, right, or selecting the location, what I usually do is I focus on areas where there's a lot of traffic, right? So in any area that has a lot of traffic, then I go there. Sometimes I go to events, like outdoor markets, like you were saying, you know, where I know that there's a lot of people. But in most cases, I have to be aware of the question that I'm gonna be asking, right? So sometimes this is what I've learned along the way, obviously, that I might have the right question, but I might be in the wrong space. You understand?
Yeah.
So a lot of questions that I ask are more of current affairs, but they lean towards the political side of things. So I don't want to go to like young people that are not really vested much into politics. I don't want to go to spaces that is crowded by a lot of young people, maybe like your school, your secondary schools and all of that. I don't go there. I go to places where I know that, okay, cool, maybe here there's a couple of people, young working professionals, that are matured, that are well vested, even though they're not that much vested, but they have some background into the topic that we are discussing.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
That's basically like the strategy that I'm taking. But like I said, it's informed by the type of question that I'm asking.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope. Have you also done these? Have you gone back to campuses? Varsity universities. Have you explored that? Have you been back there considering?
I haven't been on campus yet. The only content that I actually shot on campus was basically like for my own personal channel. So what I did was, I attend these on-campus events where they call like your guest speakers and all of that. And by the end of the event, I just asked to speak to the representatives of the event, the organizers, and also the guest speakers on the panel. And that's basically what I did. But on the Big Questions channel specifically, I haven't been on campus, especially doing random interviews, simply because there's some laws and regulations within the institutions that you have to actually abide by.
Okay.
And most of content that leans towards politics, they don't want to be affiliated with, so they won't allow you to actually film inside campus. But if it's other questions, I think I might actually consider going back to campus and engaging students. Like I said, it depends on the question. So if on my list of questions, there's a question that is well relevant to the student market, and it needs a student opinion, yes, I will jump in. I will go back on campus and shoot.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Man, yeah.
Of the nation, what is really happening right now? We've had load shedding since 2007. Right now is becoming the worst thing in the country. Next month is June, and the Minister of Electricity just said, just the day before yesterday, that there is a high possibility of getting to stage 8. How is load shedding affecting you guys?
Oh.
Okay, let me ask this gentleman. Perhaps maybe he might have something to say.
Honestly speaking, load shedding is quite a pain in the ass, excuse my profanity. But it's something we have to deal with. It's something that we have to focus on, accept the situation, accept the predicament, and like instead of crying about it and making excuses, we should try to find solutions to it. Alternative power sources, and yeah, that's all I can say basically.
What do you think are the solutions that we can explore?
We can explore utilizing external power sources like solar energy. We can use wind power.
My second last segment, I was actually in Braamfontein. I was in the same location that you're speaking about, Rosebank, but I was actually behind where the students actually usually chill there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No,
so I was actually asking them, but like I said, it depends on the question. So the question that I was asking that day was, how is load shedding actually affecting students, and how are students at working on dealing with load shedding, and just navigating their studies generally, but we can definitely pull something. I think we can do something together.
Okay, yeah. Man, because you talk about the same area. That's what I was thinking, like where they go there and chill. It's the sculptures just right around there. TPOs there, Noswald, everything,
Sure.
So yeah, man, I think it'll be dope. And you said so we brought the questions over to you a few minutes ago. Let's look into those, and you can share the type of questions you ask,
So yesterday I was filming in Joburg, Marshalltown, and then I went to Gandhi Square, and then I also went to Main Street.
Okay.
So that's where you see a lot of people, passing by, and these are professionals, right? And I've got 8 questions, by the way. So these questions, what I would do is that I would approach you. I would say, Marlon, my name is Elvis. I come from the big questions. Just have a look at these questions. You can have a look at them. So what I would say is that pick 2 questions out of that, right? So you pick 2 questions that you feel confident about. And then after picking 2 questions that you feel confident about, I start recording and you give me your opinion, right? So that is basically my recent segment that I've been filming right now. Okay. So you can see, the questions are really, leaning towards politics, but we're not actually a political, institution or a political media platform, but, it's just current affairs at this moment in time. If what's current and what's making waves in the news platforms and media tabloids, it's politics, then we're going to focus on that. So those are the questions. Maybe you can pick 2 questions and just read them aloud to our listeners, and maybe they can understand a bit what we are asking. Some of the questions basically are also related to international geopolitics. Of course, in relation to South Africa, because we are in South Africa. One of the questions that I was asking there was if the president of Russia arrives in South Africa in August for the BRICS summit, should South African defense force or law enforcement agencies actually arrest Vladimir Putin? Because we've heard, it's almost like each and every day it's in the news. We're talking about Russia, we're talking about Ukraine, we're talking about what's happening there, and why the ICC has issued a warrant of arrest and all of those things, right? So I want to hear what South Africans have to say, because if that happens, that a Russian president actually lands in the South African soil after the ICC has actually issued a warrant of arrest, and we arrest him or we don't arrest him, we are affected by that, and the people that are going to be affected mostly about that, it's people on the ground.
Yes,
it's random people that I interview. Yep. The politicians, and the people that are in positions of leadership. Yes, they're going to be affected, but not as much as people on the ground, because we do not have the the power to make major decisions about what's happening in the country. They are protected by so many things. True. So those are the questions that I asked. So what did you choose there?
Okay. Yeah. So the first one I grabbed is, if you had Ramaphosa's WhatsApp number, what message would you send to him about load shedding? Yeah. I think that's a great question.
All right.
And then the second one I grabbed is, what is the difference between stage 5 and stage 6 load shedding?
Yeah,
I think those 2 questions are cool. I feel like even the second question is a message I'd send to him about load shedding. I personally want to be like, yo, so when does your power go out? You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, people have a lot to say.
That's what I want to know. Cause is he living somewhere, his power don't go off, or at least let your power go off, turn the generator on. That's cool,
Are you experiencing it the same way we're experiencing it?
At least go through it.
Do you even have a clue of how this thing is actually affecting our daily lives?
Man, or is it like our power's going off so yours can stay on?
You feel me? So yeah.
So anything like that.
Yeah.
And the difference between 5 and 6, I think, is a good question, because it's actually pretty hard to discern. At a certain point, I feel like after stage 4, it's just the same thing. For me at least, it's been same timeline, the same frequency. I've even because I got the little load shedding app and everything, and on the app it'd be like, yo, we got stage 8, and I'm like, what do you mean stage 8, bro? Is stage 6 not bad enough?
Yeah, that's that.
And it's not even like they ever know which stage they want to go on. You'll wake up and they'll be like, yo, it's stage 3 until 4, and then it's 10 a.m. and they're like, no, stage 6.
We just changed.
Stage 6 right now, we cut your power off 2 hours ago.
It's crazy living in South Africa, man. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's
man.
Crazy.
They don't...
But there's an interesting question here. Let me maybe just take our listeners through it, because some of the questions I actually repeat them if I feel like I didn't get the substance out of a lot of videos that I've shot. I decide to repeat the question, because you would never know. You'll get somebody who might give you more substance on this question today than you did what is it, like previously,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And one of the questions that I was asking is that, do you think white people should give back the land they took from black people in South Africa during apartheid? 1948 is when apartheid is made legal in South Africa, and a lot of us were not there at that time. Even years to come, we're still not there.
Yeah.
So it's very crazy to have people like my age, talking about these things. But it's because the impact of it, doesn't just end after 1996.
Right.
The impact of it runs deep, and it's generational. And even my kids, I'm probably sure that they're going to feel it. So it's generation to generation. So the question that whether white people should give back the land they took from black people in South Africa during apartheid, it's a very crucial question. And I think I'm going to continue to ask this question because people have a lot to say about this question, right? Some people say no, they shouldn't. Some people say yes. But what I love about it is that everybody justifies their point. Justifies their point, and it's up to the listeners, choice to actually believe or take or agree with whatever that is being presented in front of them. So these questions are basically questions that many are afraid to ask. Because in these questions, I ask black people, I ask white people. Because I speak about something that is affecting all of us here in South Africa. And yesterday, I actually asked a young lady who is probably maybe 19 or 18. Yeah, she's very young. And I asked her, do you think white people must give back the land that they took from black people in South Africa during apartheid? And she was like, no, I don't think so. And I was really surprised. I was like, because I'm expecting black people to say, yes, we need the land back. But she was like, no, they shouldn't give back the land to black people. And I was like, okay, cool. Let's hear your point. Why do you have to say that? And she was like, from 1996 up until now, we've seen what the black government can do if they are in power. It's not that black people are not able to lead. It's that the minority of black people that are in government right now, they don't have the capability and they don't have the know-how. And therefore, their failures and their corruption and their egotistic behaviors are now, being confused to the larger majority of black people.
Okay.
And so when I spoke to her, I understood where she's coming from, right? I don't actually interject with my people when I interview them. I let them say what they want to say. You understand? I give them a platform. I say, look, say what you want to say, but justify your point. That's why I'm here. I'm here to give you a platform, but make sure you stand by what you say, right?
Okay.
So a lot of people have a lot to say about these questions. So yeah, that's one of the questions that I think it's interesting. I mean, I asked a lot of people, one of the questions also was do you think ANC will survive 2024 elections? Do you think there's something that the government is hiding from us about this load shedding thing, which a lot of people thought, there's a lot, behind closed doors that's happening. This thing doesn't really make sense. But hey, it is what it is. So yeah, that's really the concept of the big questions. I hope it gives somebody out there a clear perspective of what we're trying to achieve.
Nah, man. Okay, yeah, I think that's great, bro. Like, yeah, it's dope as fuck. Like the questions you ask, I do think are real, like nitty and gritty questions, and questions that people are afraid of, whether they're afraid that they'll be looked at weirdly or even sought after because they're trying to raise these questions, and that you are giving a platform for just people to be as open as they can, or as open as they want to, and not feel compelled to lean to one way or the other, or even that like you trying to start a dialogue with them, because then when you if you try to engage and have a full conversation, it can begin to get defensive, and I think you're just allowing them to shed a piece, and then move on. I think that's great, because I mean, at least for me, if somebody if you walk up to me and you ask me this question, you ask me some of these questions, and you know, answer you, and I get to walk away, I'll feel a bit light on my feet, like, you know, a weight has been lifted off my shoulders, almost like less of a burden. And I'm like, I got to get that off my chest, you know, or like, finally I've been heard. So I think that's like, man, super dope, bro. I hope you continue to keep this going, like, even more still, like I know we talked about, you know, maybe Lincoln and Brahm, but like, man, really collabing on channels and going out to do some of these interviews, because you're more quick, you know, and we like the longer sit down type, but I think there's a way to find a balance with us, even if we all just out together, and we rotate our style of interviewing, you know, because I think having you here on our show, and we have a guest that's real into politics, you'd be able to engage with them
100%,
you know, and then maybe we can go out and interview people about, like, you know, what are they trying to, you know, we can just ask different questions, we can add it more to the mix. But I think it's definitely a zone where we could fit perfectly. But yeah, I want to, man, I think, man, this has been a good ass, like, interview.
And I mean, you know, just to say something, right? You know, being a content creator sometimes, you know, it's a bit challenging, right? Especially if you are trying to monetize it, right? Because I won't lie, I'm trying to actually monetize this thing. But you know, sometimes it takes a lot of courage to actually decide to take this path. You know, to say, look, I'm gonna move with my passion, because all in all, it's passion. It's passion for this. You know, why would I spend my own money traveling to shoot these videos and speak to these people if I didn't have passion for that? And I think we all have passions in different things, right? A lot of people are passionate about you know, certain things. You know, I'm passionate about a lot of things. I mean, public speaking is my one thing, and you know, just engaging, you know, in these conversations, it's one of the passions that I have. So what I want to say is basically, you know, if you are a content creator and you know, you're working on this type of content, or maybe different type of content, but you are a content creator, what you need is the courage to actually defend what you stand for, you know, what you believe in. Because in most cases, when you start, you're probably going to post 100 videos before you actually get noticed. You know, I think I have over 100 videos or something on my channel, and there's a lot of people that still don't know what I'm doing, and then there's a lot of people that know what I'm doing, but they still think I don't know what I'm doing. You know, so so I think you need that courage. You need that courage to actually, you know, continue doing what you're doing, and maybe surrounding yourself with people that can support you. And sometimes there are no people that can support you, so you need to support yourself. So yeah, that's basically, you know, what I want to share, you know, as we conclude this conversation, I guess.
We actually need something new. We actually need something innovative. We actually need something that understands, you know, like the reality we're living on right now, and we need a change, you know. So
yeah, man, so wise words from Elvis right here to all the creators everywhere, man. You heard it, you know, just stick to your passion and don't give up. And honestly, man, don't let nobody fool you, and don't give in to what you want to do, because it's not what others like, you know. Like, your passion is your passion.
Yeah.
So continue to be passionate about it. This the I.M.N.O.G podcast, man. Elvis, yeah, it was great to have you. Any last words? I don't know if you want to give him something else.
Nah, man, I think we're good. You know, the most important thing I think in life is, you know, this is the question that I've been asking myself, and I think I should be asking a lot of people again. You know, is that when last do you remember being here on Earth? When is your last memory of being here on Earth? You know, and if you can't remember anything of your past life being here on Earth, then it probably means that the 99% chances is that you are here for the first and the last time. You know, so if you're here for the first and the last time, why would you worry and, you know, waste your time on what people think, you know, and what people say, and, you know, don't approve you, maybe, why don't you just give it your all and, decide to be the best version of yourself?
Man.
Yeah. But anyway,
it's getting better and better.
Yeah, check us on TikTok. We are the Big Questions ZA, so it's the Big Questions _ZA, and then on YouTube we are the Big Questions ZA, as well as on Instagram, the Big Questions ZA. Thank you so much, guys. Much appreciated.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, Trip, you can play us out. We gone.
Just be, she knows. Go, some, I.M.N.O.G, go.